So today we will talk about which institutions are responsible for prevention, and how do their role differ across region. So I ask the case study to prepare at least some bullet point for a roundtable discussion. But we will start with a presentation from Ellie about the Norwegian case. And then we will go to this roundtable discussion. And Thanasis proposed also to present something about the West Athens. So if this here perfect, if it's not, we will do with the other case study. And that's it, because the program is a bit, we have a lot of things to discuss today, so I don't want to take more time. And Ellie, I can share the screen, or if you can share the screen as you prefer.
I will show you a presentation of the responsibility for prevention of natural damage risk for the built environment in Norway. So there are some limitations here. We're looking at natural damage and also the built environment, but I'll get back to that. You can change the slide, please.
Yeah.
This is an overview of the responsibilities for climate change adaptation in Norway. I'm not going into details of all these public agencies, but I wanted to show you the mapping. It shows the complexity of climate change adaptation, and it also shows the need for vertical and horizontal coordination and collaboration between these agencies. And it also shows that municipalities play a key role in climate change adaptation in Norway. This is the same in many countries, but the damage compensation is differ between different countries, and I will also get back to that. You can change slide. This is the responsibilities for damage compensation in Norway. So the damage compensation is dependent on both the cost of damage and also the types of assets that is damaged. And what is unique to Norway in this sense is that river flood and stormwater, it's separated. It has two different compensation schemes. And we have a public compensation scheme for privately owned infrastructure, which is unique to Norway. Next slide, please. And this figure illustrates the responsibilities for damage prevention, which is the topic today. And we focus on the damage prevention before damage occurs. And I limit this presentation to existing buildings, as I mentioned, only floods and landslides, and the case where before the danger is imminent. So we have, for new buildings, we have the Planning and Building Act, which the municipalities have control of. And most of the buildings is built. So that's where we find that the problem is largest, that it's unclear who has the responsibility for damage prevention. The Planning and Building Act is a very important incentive for climate change adaptation or damage prevention, but it's only for new buildings. So the uncertainty that lies in it lies in the scope of the responsibility. So when does the landowner has the responsibility, and when does the municipality take over this responsibility? So this is the green area that I will discuss today. Next slide, please. The regulation regarding protection against natural damage and the preparatory work of these legal obligations indicate that the landowners have the responsibility when the costs are low, and when it's limited interest or only private interest in the security measures, and if it's about only one or a few properties. The municipalities should have the responsibility when preventive measures are necessary, when it has a reasonable price, and when it's about a larger area, and if it requires extensive work, where a large number of people are affected, and the measure should be socioeconomic profitable. I will mostly discuss the difference between the landowners and the municipalities, because the government's responsibility is limited by the state funding. They choose the measures if it's socioeconomically profitable, and it should be so large measures that the municipalities cannot, or it's not reasonable that the municipality does these preventive measures. The landowners has the main responsibility for what he or she owns. So that's the legal framework. Next slide, please. The municipalities, they are provided support schemes for implementing preventive measures. It is the Norwegian Water Resources and Energy Directorate, NVE, that provides this scheme, and it's for landslides and floods. The measure, or the municipalities, they can apply for grants, or they can apply for assistance. If they apply for grants, they will implement the measures themselves. If they apply for assistance, the NVE will use will do it for them. And now, from 2025, the new minimum price of the measure is approximately 87,000 euros, and for assistance it's 870,000. Previously it was only 43,000 euros. So the municipalities need to cover a lot of these costs themselves. Either how, the municipalities need to cover 10% of the costs if NVE are providing these funds. Previously, it was 20,000. That is also new from 2025. This support scheme is targeted for municipalities that has limited resources and also has a great need for these measures, because we know that the funding is limited. Another possibility that the municipalities has is that they can ask the landowners for refund for these measures, and these are connected to the property value. If the property value increases by the measure, the municipalities can require refund. Switch slides. But how this is interpreted today is that less than 50% of the applications are granted support. And then we also can suspect that many of these projects would be socially economically profitable. And we know also that more than 200,000 buildings in Norway are exposed to floods and landslides, and the costs are estimated at 7 billion as a medium estimate. And we know also that these numbers are increasing. And municipalities, they do in general not implement preventive measures unless they get this fund from NVE. And they do not require refund from the municipalities. Next slide, please. The privately funded measures, they are not recorded, so we don't know, but we probably would be also lacking. So we could say that in general, most of the prevention measures are covered by our state-funded. So why does the municipalities not implement the preventive measures? We know that the legal framework is thin and also divergent. We have one court document and also a lot of white papers and some other public documents saying from 10 years ago until now that the municipalities do not have the responsibility or not a legal obligation to do preventive measures. But the most recent white paper says that the municipalities play a key role, even though that's still very vague. Apart from this district court judgment and also the guidelines for funding from NVE, there are no guidelines saying what the scope is for this for the responsibilities. And we have ended up in a situation where prevention is not placed in the municipalities. The municipalities, they prioritize the risk and vulnerability assessment according to the Planning and Building Act and also the Emergency Preparedness Act. And they also do emergency preparedness, but not prevention. Next slide, please. So we have some recommendations linked to the Soteria project. First, on policy, governance, and regulation. We need guidelines and threshold values for how the responsibility should be understood or how the scope of the responsibility should be understood. To find out which measures that are socioeconomically profitable, the municipalities need to do cost-benefit analysis. And insurance loss data, it can be very valuable for calculating the risk, economic risks. We should have a support scheme for preventive measures also for private landowners. The municipalities should use the refund access, and NVE or municipalities that has been supported by NVE, they are legally obligated to do inspections of implemented measures. But NVE does not require these inspection reports. So that is something that NVE could do to increase the resilience. Next slide, please. And recommendation for insurance and procurement. Insurance solutions should reward preventive measures before the damage occurs. 80% of the Norwegian municipalities, they buy insurance through brokers. And they buy insurance for a cluster of buildings. So you cannot separate out the preventive measures for specific buildings. So that is more an open question, if that is possible to do. Other open questions is it possible for municipalities to insure infrastructure? We have also many private landowners that comes in a situation where their properties after a new risk assessment is prone to natural damage, where also the development of their properties are restricted, and this may affect the property value. So is it possible to also for insurance companies to provide insurance for indirect damages, such as this value loss? Also, since 2025, public procurement, they need to weight climate and environment by 30%. So we recommend that physical climate risk and risk prevention should be included in this weighting, in the environment and climate weighting. And this also includes procurement of insurance and brokerage services. We are working on that with the Trøndelag case.
Thank you. Sorry, I cannot see the. Do you have any question? No question?
Just perfect.
Really clear. Okay, maybe we can then go to the roundtable discussion about what is going on in the other region. So maybe we can start with Thanasis, because you sent me a presentation. I don't know if you are in the meeting. It's not in the meeting. Okay. So the other case study, I asked you to prepare some answer for the question. I don't know who wants to start. Maybe Mihaela or Camelia. For how is going on in Bulgaria?
It seems like I'll be all alone today. The one notes that we got from the last meeting we had with the stakeholders. Can I elaborate on those, or?
Yeah, sure. You don't need a presentation. I didn't ask you to prepare a presentation.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just find Camille's, because she took. So in general, I must say the meeting was very fruitful. There were quite a few representatives. Not everyone was able to come over, obviously. I lost my. So we had from the municipality side, obviously it was, we have the support of the political body. So the mayor was present, my colleague Nikolai Dimitrov was present. He's obviously a director of municipal assets and economic development. You met Maria Yozova, is the deputy mayor for finances. We had our budget and finance unit representative also. So we had one of my colleagues who actually sent off data concerning Gabrovo. He works on the GIS platform. And from outside, we had representative from the fire department, regional forestry department, technical university, also the landscape architect for Gabrovo, who is also deputy director for the municipal company for municipal works in the city. We had also one of the mayors of local villages, who also is a senior expert of municipal assets. We had the environmental and the regional governor's office representative. I'm probably missing someone, but at this point, overall, we had a very good discussion on actually data, where the data is stored in certain aspects of the climate events, extreme climate events, should I say. So, and it became evident that the local department of, how they called, not fire department, but protection and, protection, environment and fire department, they do have data, local data that they store. Also, we found out that the local water company will be doing their own renovation, and that will be also included in so-called system. The meeting was more related to creating a local municipal data hub.
Okay.
We're discussing how to go about to actually form that, and how we can get the data, who's going to host it, and how it's going to go around. Interesting for me was from the agricultural department's information that the reason that we don't have that much, that higher insurance rate is because the insurance pay is not as good as to cover the losses and the damages for the farmers, for example. So it's at the moment it's quite it's not in their benefit, and we've had already quite not very pleasant April, where we got snow just after a blooming like week of almost near summer temperatures. So that's already affecting everyone. But also it became evident that the payout, the little payout that there is slow. So,
Sorry to interrupt you. Did you talk about because this meeting is more about what are the institutions that are responsible for prevention in each region? So during the meeting that you had last week, did you maybe talk about this with the stakeholder?
we spoke about on certain areas that we need to focus on still, but it was predominantly on data, to be honest.
Okay. And so do you know what are the main actor institutions that are involved in prevention in your region, municipality, region,
It's
country?
most likely it will be again the fire department.
The what, sorry?
The fire department, I would guess.
Okay.
Because in any way they do prepare the alert and other works that they have to do with what is called the protection of the citizens as well. Mia is raising her hand.
Hello again. I was participating in this meeting, and before that I had meetings with the civil protection on the national level, and also a professor at the University of Soteria. And from this learning from these meetings was that all the municipalities in Bulgaria has to, when there's a flooding and an occurrence, that they have to collect loss data and damage data for each of the inhabitants that is hit by this flooding. We were concentrating on flooding, and they collect all this information, and they, on the municipality level, by the civil protection, which was part of the meeting, and then they send this to the national civil protection, which will look at the numbers and the damage and decide on what on the funding back to the municipality based on this report that they're giving. And the question we are looking into is like, who are then doing, how does the municipality spend this funding from the national civil protection to help people? And from the meeting with this professor of geological and GIS data in the university, said that this varies a lot. I mean, it's up to then the municipality to help covering the losses. Would that sound like, yeah, okay. So that was my understanding, Michaela.
Okay, so it's the prevention is done by the municipalities thanks to the grant or funding from the ministry.
Yes,
and what you say, national civil protection.
Civil protection, and because the money comes back after this report, and then from what I understood, the municipality is coordinating how to recover and who should have how much recoveries from this.
Depending on the scale of the, sorry Mia to interrupt you, but depending on the scale of the said disaster, whether it's flood, whether it's fire and whatnot. So if it's a city or municipality area, which will be predominantly the municipality and the regional governance office. It's just the way it's structured. It's probably quite different than other European governments, but it is what it is. So depending on the scale of the disaster, there will be a certain what do they call, team to assist in the documenting and the recovery of it in the process. They will document, they will issue protocols of the damages and who suffered and casualties and so forth. So depending on the area and the type of disaster, there will be different institutions called to action, and usually will be by order of the mayor when it's concerned. Yeah.
What are the measures to prevent the disaster? What is done before the disaster?
It depends on also the type of disaster. For example, for flooding, the civil engineers at the municipality will have like planned strategy to prevent those. There is also a strategy of the police department, fire department itself, as it comes to fires. If they are aware of, like last year we had a meeting with them, and that's where they actually said that they have their own system to monitor where are the most fires taking place, how often, and the areas. So they monitor that themselves. It's on an institutional level as we, yeah, if we have to speak that way. Yeah, it's not as much municipality because we're administrative division that takes care of other stuff. So in that way, we don't really interfere.
So they don't, for example, for the fire, they don't have department. Sorry, they don't have funding to implement some preventive measure.
Oh, they probably do, but it's up to you. It's their budget, not. It's a bit more complicated than just allocate money for prevention of disasters. It won't be called like that. It will be in certain strategies that are implemented in the city. Like we have a program for protection of the environment. So in that program, we will have certain areas that need to be addressed, and therefore there will be probably a budget for that as well. But it goes to a different level of competence, which in this case, I don't have.
Do you have some question? Additional question? Maybe we can go to another case study. I don't know who wants to, for example, I don't know, someone from Germany, maybe?
I don't know if Bavaria is here, but otherwise I could start.
You can start if you want, and then I add Bavaria.
Okay. Can I share my screen?
Yes.
Prepared a really basic overview of the main actors when we talk about Saxony and private flood prevention. We have obviously the citizens. So I will start talking about the main roles because that's like a nice summary. So we have the citizens, and these are the main actors for private flood prevention. So they gather the information, they decide on the prevention measures and stuff, and which kind of, or if they want to have insurance. We have NGOs like the Consumer Association and the BDZ or HTV Dresden, who are in charge of the flood certificate. So they provide information, and they also can support in case there are any problems. Then we have the insurance companies are in charge of risk assessment and development and offer of insurance products. And in an ideal world, they also set incentives for adaptation, but this doesn't always happen. The municipalities in Saxony are in charge of public flood prevention, also risk assessment. They have some information campaigns. They have the hazard maps. They are also in charge of the permits if you want to have large structural measures. We have the state of Saxony, Germany and the EU, so it's kind of governmental framework. So they provide subsidies for private flood prevention. Sometimes Germany also pays ad hoc financial aid in case there is a flood. The governmental framework is also in charge of acts and laws regarding flood prevention. And we also have enterprises and craftsmen who are in charge of the development and implementation of prevention measures. And we have like firefighters and civil protection, which is kind of part of the municipalities with acute hazard defense. And sometimes they also offer trainings. And when we talk about how the coordination between those actors is managed, so obviously municipalities and the government have this institutionalized framework where they have to act because of certain laws and stuff, but everything else regarding private flood prevention is mostly, it's per request. So people have to act. People have to ask for insurance and for measures and for information. Sometimes insurance companies offer advertisements, and NGOs or municipalities offer information campaigns, but most of the responsibility for private flood prevention is at the level of citizens. And we talk about legal frameworks. We have the European Water Framework Directive, and on the level of Germany, we have, on national level, we have the Water Resource Act and the Flood Prevention Act. And Saxony also has a Water Resource Act, which says that they have to mark the flood risk areas. And also there are certain funding guidelines in Saxony, for example, for the flood certificate and for the measures, care subsidies, 80%, and for the measures, it's 50%. And recent changes, these subsidies, they're currently being renewed. I don't know if this is official yet, but Mr. Golds told us that they are currently being renewed. And this flood certificate is really like an example of really good practice, I think, because it's like a holistic approach. They get the information, and they like it's individually for their building. And also we have this really nice, or we had this really nice project at the UFZ in 2021 about risk communication and flood protection. And for Saxony-Anhalt, farmers and insurers, so we have the agriculture and parametric insurance, and we have farmers and insurers as the main actors. Also reinsurers are part of the picture, agricultural associations, ministries and the state, enterprises and research institutes, and the weather services. So farmers, again, are the main actor. They have to make the decision. This is not some kind of compulsory insurance. They also can decide what kind of adaptation measures they implement. The insurers are also in charge of risk assessment, product development, which kind of risk indicators they use for parametric insurance, and deal with risk transfer. So this is where the reinsurers come into the picture, and agricultural associations can offer support and consultation for the farmers. The ministry and the state are in charge of regulations, of subsidies, and this kind of big picture strategy in how to deal with this issues like drought, and enterprises and researchers are in charge of R&D, of adaptation measures, of IT solutions. Also, sometimes they can offer guidance for new insurance products, and weather services provide data. The coordination, is mostly the same. So the farmers have to act, they have to request help. This is all on a voluntary basis to get these insurance products. Legal frameworks regarding this, there's the Federal Climate Adaptation Act, there's the Climate Protection Act, and protection program and adaptation programs, and the Common Agriculture Policy, but it's not as tight, I'd say. like for the case study in Saxony.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's different for Bavaria. What is different for Bavaria?
So in Bavaria, we also have various institutions that contribute to prevention, like the Bavarian State Ministry for Food, Agriculture, Forestry, and Tourism. They are the main responsible for the policies and the subsidies for insurance premiums and also for climate adaptation strategies. Then we have the Bavarian State Institute for Agriculture, who do research and deliver technical guidance on prevention measures. Then, of course, we have private insurers who provide in the end, the agricultural insurance products. And on like the federal German level, we have the German State Ministry of Food, who responsible for national level policy and also funding support. Then, of course, the European Union is co-financing insurance subsidies, and the Bavarian State Institute for the Environment provides climate data and modeling for risk assessment. And ongoing challenges in the agricultural sector in Bavaria are, of course, increased weather-related losses and economic pressures on farmers, like rising costs for energy, fertilizers, and crop protection, alongside declining profits. And innovations are investments in research projects, digital agriculture initiatives, and the development of climate-resilient crop varieties. And I would say a good example, not really a best practice example, but a good example is the multi-peril crop insurance, which is offered by this Bavarian State Ministry for Agriculture. And there you can get up to 50% subsidy for your insurance premium. However, this is not really, it's just for the premium. So you don't get money for prevention. It's just in the aftermath. And so to cut things short, you can say that the main people responsible for prevention are the farmers themselves. And they also have to look at it on an economic basis, and they implement what brings them the most profit eventually. And if they see that they don't get money for preventive measures, then maybe they just don't implement them if they can get more money out of it. Yeah, there's still a long way to go if you want to increase prevention, maybe through subsidies, but currently this is not the case in Bavaria. So farmers are up to their own in this regard.
Mm-hmm. So the subsidy model is just in Saxony, not in Bavaria.
So there are subsidies in Bavaria, but it's like you get subsidies for your insurance premium. And then when you have a loss, of course, you get your payout, but you don't get money to implement prevention measures. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any question? Okay, thank you very much. Maybe we can go to the Valencia case study.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
So Ciro and Marina cannot be here because they are preparing the CDR. But so in Spain, and Mari's here, and she also knows a lot. So in Spain, at the national level, the Ministry of MITECO, the Ministry of Ecological Transition, is the key lead on adaptation, and they have the responsibility to oversee all the policies related to adaptation, specifically for climate projections and early warning systems. We have the State Meteorological Agency, IMET, and they supply climate projections and early warning systems for extreme events, like the flood that we have in Valencia. They collaborate with research institutions to develop regional climate scenarios. And we also have the Civil Protection and Emergency Directorate, the Ministry of Interior, and they manages the national and regional emergency planning and response. And It focuses on risk prevention for natural hazards. And then we have the National Civil Protection Council, and also we have at the regional level, the Civil Protection Agency also works at the regional level, and we have institutions within the Comunidad Valenciana, the Valencian community, that work on this. We don't have all what, we don't have anything related really to prevention, like we have a law, like the civil protection law talks about prevention, but we don't have anything like receiving subsidies for prevention. It will be beautiful on prevention measures or anything like that. There's a, Matt, do you want to come in? There's this law about the Valencian community and the law of 2010 that talks also about like how to manage emergencies, but they don't go any deeper, you know, like they kind of mention it, but they don't go in deep detail. And after the DANA, the civil society has gathered together, and there's this Observatorio, el Observatorio Valenciano, for the Valencian Observatory for Climate Resilience and Management of the DANA. And it is not within the government, but it's very interesting. And I didn't know that until you asked those questions, so Jonathan, thanks for raising the question. They are working with different academic institutions and people that were affected by the DANA on trying to gather information in one place on how to prepare for this type of events. So we will invite them to the Climate Resilience Dialogue. We didn't know about them, and that's it. Matt, do you want to say something?
No, I think you sum up very well what the law says. It's like nothing is specific, and we don't have nothing mandatory really, like a law specific for that. It's more like a broad sense and little pieces inside the regulation, but nothing really long.
Just a question about this Valencian Observatory. Is it like spontaneous initiative from this? From who? I didn't really quite understand.
So it came like after the DANA, like civil society began to organize, and they realized that there was not really like interinstitutional coordination. So this is a way from civil society to push to the government, to the Generalitat Valenciana, and to the municipalities to coordinate and stop discussing who was responsible, but like really assuming and prepare better for the next time, because we'll have another time, right? Like it will come.
Okay, so there are no legal institution that is responsible of this observatory.
No, I will send you the link to it, and
sure,
to everyone here in the, well, if I can from my phone, but if not, after the CCPUD.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, so that's all.
This is really a very interesting initiative.
Yep.
Just a comment. They have, hi Gabi, they have this type of observatory. They might have got the idea from France, because France has this observatory and they had it for long. Actually, I can find and I can send a link to it. And they also have like a platform where where both insurance and these people from this observatory meet to discuss climate change, disaster risk maybe, and I think they have it like under the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction. So it's a national forum for prevention and risk reduction. I will try to find it, because this is something that Roland Nussbaum, which is in some, I guess his role here is more like an advisor, and he has worked a lot on this. So it could be interesting to look to this as a best practice.
Yeah, if you can. Okay. I don't know if someone wants to add something, because we are at the end of the meeting. Okay, if not, so I will send you the minute of the meeting. Thank you very much for all your input, the presentations. I don't know. I don't have any news from Thanasis, so it's a pity. And I will.
Apologies from Thanasis. He is out of the network. The problem is not working, so he could not connect.
Okay, no problem.
He's in an island. Sorry.
Oh, so thank you, Yolanda. And so thank you, everyone. I will send the minute and so on, and also some for the next topic, what we will be on the date, do the and so on. So now you are used to it. And that's it. Thank you very much.